Final game in this 4-game series. The Blue Jays are looking to win the series. They'll need a good effort from Marcus Stroman today. John Gibbons wasn't very pleased with the way the team played last night. A little flat. They lost 6-1. They committed 3 errors in the ball game and just couldn't come up with a clutch hit. They were 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. They are tied for second in the AL East. Devin Travis has a 14-game hit streak. Devin had 3 hits in last night's affair. And then down in the 5th spot, Russell Martin. He is the DH this afternoon because he's swinging a hot bat. He's got a 4-game hit streak, 5 for his last 13 with a double and pair of home runs and 6 RBIs. Connor Navarro doing the catching today against young Alex Meyer.
Big Alex Meyer, 6'9", making just his 5th major league appearance and 4th start of the season. 3rd start with the Angels. He was just recalled from AAA in September, a couple of weeks ago. Acquired from Minnesota on August the 1st, along with last night's starter, Ricky Nolasco. So Alex Meyer, the big right-hander, former #1 draft pick, gets the start this afternoon.
Misses with that first pitch to Devin Travis. There's a strike, 1-1. Meyer made his big league debut on May 3rd for Minnesota against the Houston Astros down in Minute Maid Park. He was roughed up last time at the hands of the Seattle Mariners. He lasted just 4 innings, gave up 4 earned runs on 5 hits through 76 pitches over those 4 innings.
Gave up a couple of walks and a couple of home runs to Seattle. He's big and tall. He throws hard. But you got to make him throw strikes.
Fastball upstairs. Now 2-2 to Devin Travis. We mentioned Devin had 3 hits. He had hits in each of his first 3 at bats. He finished up 3 for 5 on the night. Full count. Devin batting .304 at the start of play. Excuse me, .309 at the start of play after 3 hits yesterday. Ball 4. Leadoff man reaches here in the 1st. Take a look at the defense for Mike Scioscia's Angels. A little bit different lineup today. Rafael Ortega is in left field. Mike Trout's in center. Cole Calhoun's in right. And both Trout and Calhoun have big arms. Yunel Escobar starting at 3rd. Simmons and Cliff Pennington up the middle. C.J. Cron back at first base. And Juan Gratterall making just his 2nd big league start behind the plate.
All the Blue Jay fans remember Yunel Escobar. This is just his 2nd year playing 3rd base. He came up as a shortstop. He's played 118 games, 12th in the American League in fielding percentage as a 3rd baseman. He's committed 17 errors over there at 3rd.
Yeah, defense has been a problem for the Angels this season. Only the Twins have committed more errors than the Angels. Josh Donaldson, 2nd straight game at 3rd base. Josh finished up 0 for 4 last night. Breaking ball for a strike. 0-2 to Donaldson. What kind of challenges does a 6'9" pitcher present to this Blue Jays lineup?
Well, you know what? If he threw a little bit more on top, it would be a little bit tougher because he creates a great downward angle. But you can see he throws about 3/4 arm slot, making it a little bit easier, I think, for batters to hit him.
A breaking ball, and Donaldson called for the swing. First base umpire ringing him up. That's Jim Reynolds down at 1st. They talk about creating a significant angle. So look at some of the tallest pitchers there around the majors. Active Chris Young of the Royals at 6'10", then Alex Meyer, but there's a lot of big arms on that list.
You know, look at Dylan Betances at 6'8". He comes right over the top and throws about 100 miles an hour. Another problem that these guys, the tall guys, really give to batters is they've got such a long stride because they have long arms and long legs, that it's almost like they're throwing the ball from 50 feet. It just appears that way. Now, again, it's a little bit easier when you're throwing from a 3/4 arm slot. The ball doesn't seem to be working its way down on a downward plane. Still very tough.
Edwin Encarnacion takes ball 1.
You know,
there's a fastball strike.
One of the other problems that he's going to have, maybe the first time through the lineup, is nobody knows this guy. It's his first appearance against the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays have a lot of veteran hitters who really like to have a lot of information when they step into that batter's box. They're going to have to trust what they see this afternoon, at least the first time through.
I think that would be a refreshing approach if they just go up there and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to look for a good fastball to hit, get a strike and hit it. The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, like you did in the minor leagues. They didn't have all the video and everything like that. You just trusted your eyes, what you saw, what the fastball looked like, and you can sit on that bench and see how he was working right-handed batters and maybe apply that to yourself.
Every one of these major league players has hit without information about a pitcher. You go back to high school, you go into college, they didn't have much information. He went up to the plate, took a couple pitches, said, okay, he throws hard. Okay, there's the spin on his breaking ball. Now I'm set. Now they look at every little wrinkle and every little set position trying to come up with some information. Sometimes it's too much. Fouled straight back. 2-2 now to Encarnacion with one out. Devin Travis drew the leadoff walk to start the ball game. You know, you talk about tall pitchers. Randy Johnson, of course, was 6'10", the hard-throwing left-hander, and it took him years to get control of his body, refine his delivery, and eventually, because everybody was so patient with him, he became the Hall of Fame pitcher.
Yeah, so many moving parts, and everything's got to work on time when you're tall and you've got long limbs like Alex Meyer does, but you can see why he was a first-round draft pick. Let's take a look at the scouting report for the young right-hander for the Los Angeles Angels. His fastball's pretty hard. At 95 mile an hour, he will average, and he'll throw it about 60% of the time. That's a pretty good scouting report right there. He's going to use that fastball. He slings that curveball up there. It looks very slurvy, a cross between a slider and a curveball, and he'll throw that changeup about 10% of the time. But it looks like he's going to challenge you with the fastball. You got to make him put it in the strike zone.
2 outs for Jose Bautista. He had a good rip at that fastball and fouls it back. Jose batting .229 for the season. He had a hit in 5 at bats in last night's game. The Angels were suspect that the Mariners may have been picking up something in Alex Meyer's delivery. Albert Pujols had mentioned, you know, I think you might have been tipping your pitches because he threw some good pitches that they were right on. So they did some investigating into that area.
That's where a nice little scouting report comes in handy right there. Maybe you make a phone call to, well, I don't think Seattle's going to give the Blue Jays any information.
They're both competing for a wild card spot. So Mike Scioscia, he handles the running game himself, one of the few managers that does that. But of course, he was a catcher in his playing days, and he understands the running game very well. 0-2, breaking ball inside. Alex Meyer was drafted out of high school by the Boston Red Sox in the 20th round in 2008. He went to University of Kentucky and made himself into a first-round pick. That was in 2011 when he was drafted by the Washington Nationals. 23rd pick overall. The Blue Jays have a tall pitcher they drafted this past draft that they have high expectations on, much like Alex Meyer, T.J. Zeuch.
T.J. Zeuch, we just saw him back in Toronto. I mean, when you want to carve out a baseball body, especially a pitcher's body, that's the guy you want to have. About 6'7", very thick legs. High hopes for him.
And the throw to first base. Again, that comes from Scioscia on the bench.
Devin's not really a threat to steal. He's 3 for 4 in stolen bases this year. And he'll pick his spots every now and then, but hitting in the top of the lineup, you got to let these guys hit, and you're hoping that they knock one out of the ballpark.
There goes Travis. Bautista gets a piece of it, fouls it off. Devin got a walking lead that time and picked a good pitch to run on, but with 2 strikes, Bautista had to protect the plate.
Never even looked back over there. It looked like he was trying to hold the ball on him, but never looked back over there. If he looked back over there, he had a shot at picking Devin off because he started to shuffle his feet and get off the base just a little bit more.
That is a result of all of the calls coming from the bench. Pitchers have no feel for when a runner might run. Not running here, the ball is away. It's a full count to Bautista. When pitchers know the manager or coach is going to call the pitch out, slide steps, and throw overs, they just don't really think about it. If they don't get a sign, they don't even worry, and they don't even stop a runner at first.
They don't stop, they don't look, they don't alter the way they're holding the baseball. Well, now he'll run now. The first baseman's going to play behind him. 3-2, 2 outs.
And there goes Travis. Bautista takes a pitch low, and he's called for a check swing. So Meyer ends up striking out the side after the leadoff walk. A couple of check swing strikeouts. Good start for the big right-hander. Bautista tried to check his swing, but went too far. Take a look at the lineup for the Angels as Mike Scioscia's team is 20 games under 500. Mike Trout in the 3rd spot. We talked about this in the open. Now the Blue Jays just haven't been able to get Mike Trout out. 11 for 23, batting nearly 500 for the season against the Blue Jays. And right behind him, Albert Pujols doing the same thing. These two have combined to hit .458 against the Blue Jays. And when you play the Angels, say, okay, let's don't let Trout and Pujols beat us. Well, they're letting them beat them because they have really worn them out.
And they're 3-3 versus the Angels so far this season. Marcus Stroman needs a big game this afternoon. 30th start of the season for Stroman. He's lost his last 3 starts. Last time out against Tampa Bay, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 hits. But the problem was the walks. He had 4 of them in that game. That was one off a season high for Marcus. He has not won since he beat Houston back on August the 14th. I think he has pitched better than his record indicates. It always just seems like there's one inning or one pitch that has done him in. But he needs to come up big this afternoon for the Blue Jays.
Marcus Stroman hasn't pitched in this ballpark since July of 2014. First pitch to Escobar is up for a ball. Escobar batting .308 for the season. He was 0 for 4 in the game last night, but he reached on an error and scored in the 7th inning.
Still hitting over 300 on the season, but he's had a rough September, hitting just 167 this month. He's had some injury problems this 2 weeks.
Fly ball to right. Bautista drifting back. He's just shy of the warning track. 1 away. Let's take a look at the defense for the Blue Jays. Beautiful afternoon here in Anaheim. In the outfield, it's Sanders Pilar and Jose Bautista. Josh Donaldson is back at 3rd. Tulowitzki and Travis up the middle. Edwin Encarnacion making his 64th start at first base. And Deanna Navarro behind the plate for Marcus Stroman.
4th time starting since the Blue Jays acquired Navarro. First time he's catching Marcus Stroman. So this should be very interesting this year watching him catch Stroman. He caught him in the past, and that's one of the benefits that they got when they got Navarro in that trade is he's caught everybody on his staff in the past.
It'll be interesting to see how he uses Stroman's pitches a little differently than Martin. In fact, if he does use them differently. This is Cole Calhoun. Calhoun had a couple of hits in the game last night. He was 2 for 4, scored a couple of runs and drove in a run. It is 28th double in the 7th inning. That was against Ryan Tepera.
You know, I don't want to put him in the Mike Trout, Albert Pujols category just yet, but this is another hitter that you have to be able to keep off the bases. He hits in front of Mike Trout, so he gets a lot of fastballs and he gets a lot of opportunities to hit and drive and run. He's driven in 68 runs to go along with 17 home runs.
Yeah, it's a pretty enviable position to be hitting in this Angel lineup. You hit second ahead of Trout and Pujols, you should get some pitches to hit.
Well, they just cannot afford to walk this guy. Start walking the people in front of Trout and Pujols, and you're just asking for trouble.
Interesting that Calhoun has hit just .225 here at Angel Stadium this year. It's a beautiful hitter's ballpark. A lot of room for base hits in the outfield. It's a spacious outfield, but he's batting just .225 here at home compared to a .305 average on the road.
I think he gets a little bit too pool happy talking to some of the Angel people at times in this ballpark, thinking about yanking the ball to right field for home runs.
Rolls over on this one and hits a grounder to second. Travis in time, 2 away. Again, Mike Trout will come to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on.
That's the best time to face this guy because he's so dynamic. If you make a mistake, he can hurt you. And believe me, every team will go through the way that they want to pitch him. And if you make good pitches against Trout and Pujols, you can get him out. Problem is, when you make mistakes, he's so talented and he's so good, he makes you pay for it. Last night's ball game, Blue Jays threw a couple of pitches right there, and he hit it hard for base hits.
2 outs. Stroman misses with the first pitch. How would you pitch to Mike Trout?
Very carefully, first of all. But I think I'd try and pitch away from his power. We have seen him hit some balls to right field in this series. So maybe fastballs away so he doesn't pull the ball out of the ballpark. And then not just this year, but in years past, we've seen the Blue Jays, use the fastball up against him. Teams that have success make good pitches on him. When you make a mistake, he makes you pay.
So if you were to characterize him, would you call him a low ball hitter or a high ball hitter?
I think he's an outstanding low ball hitter, and he can get to that low ball. Same with the guy on deck. He's an outstanding low ball hitter.
You remember in your playing days, you used to go over guys, and that's how you would classify him. He's a low fastball hitter, or you can run the ball away from him. Doesn't have any power. Just very general terms. Ground ball. Donaldson backs up. He has to turn and fire in a hurry. Just in time to get Trout. Nice play by Josh at third base. Good start for Marcus Stroman. He retires the side in order. Scoreless after 1 here in Anaheim. He is out of the game. Danny Farquhar is into the ball game, and they are in a jam there. The Rays are in Baltimore, 1-1. Bottom of the 7th. Of course, the Red Sox and Yankees will play later on. It's a night game, Sunday Night Baseball. New York at Fenway Park. It starts at 8:08 Eastern Time. The Tigers are beating the Indians 6-5, bottom of the 7th in Cleveland. Russell Martin goes after the first pitch.
They came roaring back, didn't they? The Tigers, they were down early in that ball game, and a lot of Tiger batters getting hit again this afternoon.
Yeah, they were down in that game, and they came back and scored 3 in the 3rd to take the lead. It was 2-0 Cleveland, and then the Tigers actually went up 5-2. That was in the 5th. Russell Martin.
Tribe's getting some bad news the last couple of days to their pitching staff.
Boy, how about that? And you think about Carlos Carrasco taking a line drive off the hand, and he broke his hand. Danny Salazar is done for the year, more than likely. And they lost John Gomes, who was on a rehab assignment coming back from a shoulder injury, and he suffered a fractured wrist.
Wow.
Breaking ball, 1-2 now to Russell Martin. Russell's the DH this afternoon. He had a couple hits in last night's game. He was 2 for 4. He also picked up a stolen base, his 2nd bag of the season.
Got to keep his bat in the lineup. That's why Gibby's got him DHing today, even though there's a right-hander on the mound. He gives you good at bats. He makes them work. There's a good breaking ball.
4 straight strikeouts for Meyer.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Alex Meyer has struck out 4 in a row. You got Russell Martin looking at a breaking ball for strike 3. Troy Tulowitzki now.
That's pretty firm at 97 miles an hour. It looks free and easy too. So Blue Jays, I think they should, at least the first time through here, get a gauge, you know, what he's going to feature. Maybe try and run up his pitch count a little bit.
He's got a pretty good delivery for a pitcher that is 6'9". He is really pretty well in sync with his delivery. That's a good fastball. He pours it in there for a strike. It's 1-2.
You mentioned that he was a #1 pick of the Washington Nationals. They traded him to Minnesota for Bernard Span. You don't see it very often where you have a high draft pick you traded for a singles hitting center fielder. Thought he had another one right there. And then Minnesota, who is hurting for a lot of pitching, trades him here.
With Ricky Nolasco for a left-handed pitcher, Hector Santiago. That's kind of interesting. But it's all about needs and strengths. Tulowitzki fouls it off. Washington, of course, has a lot of good starting pitching.
Yeah.
And young. You know, of course, they got Scherzer, who's outstanding, and they've got Tanner Roark right now, and Strasburg is on the shelf a bit, but they've got a host of young starters, so they could afford to give up Meyer for what they needed in the center field.
They've got young guys stacked up too down in their minor league system that are coming up.
Tulowitzki hits it high and deep to right. Calhoun on the run, on the track, makes the catch. Boy, he had a long run. He was playing Tulowitzki in the alley in right center, and Tulo crosses him up, hits one down into the right field corner, but Calhoun runs it down.
You know, we've had a chance to watch Cole Calhoun the last few days here in Anaheim, and this guy's a good outfielder. He won the Gold Glove last year as an outfielder in right field. He's got great range. He takes a good route. He's got a strong arm, and he's fearless right there. You didn't see him shy away at all on this ball, knowing he's just a couple of steps from the wall. Takes away extra bases from Tulo. He's a good-looking player.
So now there are 2 outs for the catcher, Deano Navarro. Goes after the first pitch. Navarro entered the game last night as a pinch hitter. He pinch hit in the 8th inning for Smoke and drew a walk. His numbers for the season hitting just over 200. Deanner's making his 4th start behind the plate since rejoining the Blue Jays.
Day game after a night game. Give Russell a chance to rest his legs and get Deanner's bat in the lineup. Myers had problems in his young career with left-handed batters. They're hitting almost 350 against him this year. So if you're the Blue Jays, you're right-handed top heavy, try to get as many left-handed bats in the lineup.
1-2 to Navarro. He goes around. He strikes out. That's 5 strikeouts in 2 innings for young Alex Meyer. He got some nice defensive work from his right fielder Cole Calhoun, who robs Tulowitzki of an extra base hit in right.
Day for Devin Travis at the plate yesterday. He did make an error on the base paths, and it's one that he felt as bad as anybody about afterwards, especially knowing that it's the 2nd time he's made that over the last couple of weeks, and it was him trying to go 2nd to 3rd on a ground ball that was basically hit right in front of him. I talked to Devin afterwards. He said he's starting to learn just how important games are this time of year. This is the first time he's ever been in a pennant race, and he's starting to understand that every hit, every play, every time you run the base, it's magnified, and it all counts that much more. Luis Rivera and both John Gibbons said that they're confident he will not make that same mistake again. And guys, both of you have played in this league. Maybe you can talk about what that is like as a young player now playing in a pennant race for the first time, and how everything just becomes so much tighter for you.
Yeah, Barry, it's a very challenging situation. Of course, Devin didn't play in the pennant drive last year because of that shoulder injury, but at the same time, you got to have a checklist if you're a base runner. Say, okay, I get a leadoff double here. I got Allison, Encarnacion, and Bautista behind me. I'm already in scoring position, and you've got to be 100% sure before you break toward 3rd that you can make it safely. And he's done that a couple of times. But you can see DeMarlo Hale talking to him, explaining all the different situations where you need to gamble and when you don't.
Yeah, over enthusiastic right there. You know, when you're a runner out at second base, you check the outfield, see where they're playing. You always check where the shortstop is. He's not going to play there every single pitch. He might move around. And that ball was right at the shortstop, and a chance to make mistakes. So you chalk it up to experience, and you're right. Just don't make that same mistake twice.
The Blue Jays have made an awful lot of mistakes. They've made physical mistakes so far in this game. They've committed 13 errors in their last 15 games.
You know, the biggest thing that happens when you make mistakes like that in these pressure-packed games and you're a young player, you feel like you're letting your teammates down. You know, like you feel like I cost the ball game. Well, you can't say that. You can't believe that. And that's where the young and, you know, then the older players can help the younger players by saying, look, it's just another game. You go up there, you put your arm around them and say, forget about it. Just don't make that same mistake twice.
Leadoff walk issued to Albert Pujols. Stroman had 4 walks in his last start. He had been so good at eliminating the base on balls. That was the first time he had issued 4 walks in a game since June 26th, pitching against the White Sox in Chicago. Misses with that pitch, and he's got to make an adjustment here and get back in the strike zone. This is C.J. Cron. Cron's the first baseman, batting .279 for the season. Base hit past Tulowitzki into center. Pujols is going to challenge the arm, and now he stops. Boy, you talk about a piece of good base running. Pujols made a full turn around third. Just in case Pilar had a bobble or a momentary hesitation, he would have taken advantage, but Pilar had to come up throwing to third. Pujols could retreat to second.
Well, he's also knows that he's playing deep, respecting the power. And look at the big man come around the bag. He was thinking about it. And what he did is he said, I'm going to run hard. I'm going to run with my head up, and I'm going to make that outfielder stop me. You read the throw, you read all of that, and you can see he had plenty of time to get back to second base. That's some heads-up base running right there.
It is so easy to play the game like that. This is Andrelton Simmons. Pujols with a walk, Cron with a single, nobody out. Ground ball knocked down by Encarnacion. He gets one at second. That's all they will get. Tulowitzki's talking to the umpire about that leg whip at second base. Cron went in and kicked at Tulowitzki's feet. There wasn't any contact, but Field and Colbert, the umpire, is getting a conversation from the shortstop saying, hey man, what about that double play slide rule?
And John Gibbons has called timeout. They're going to take a look at it. He's asking everybody to just hold on just a second. You're absolutely right. Tulo caught the ball, and it looked like he wanted to try and turn the double play. Let's take a look out at second base. What a play by Encarnacion, then throws behind the runner. Here comes Tulo, and there's the kick right into his leg.
Yeah, and you know what? This is, to me, an interpretation of the new slide rule. That should be called an illegal slide, but they're not going to review it. I guess you could say he could reach the bag and hold on, but Tulowitzki thought it wasn't a good slide.
Did you see Edwin in the background there? Point, like, hey, that's we've had that called against us right there.
So they get the force out at second. This is Rafael Ortega, the left fielder. Simmons at first can run. He's got 5 stolen bases. Of course, Stroman gets more ground balls than anybody in baseball, so there's always the possibility of a ground ball double play.
And the Angels are very aggressive. They've been aggressive in this series on the bases. He looks like he wants to run.
There he goes. Little tapper out in front of home. It's a foul ball called by the home plate umpire, C.B. Buckner. Navarro, in an effort to get a double play started, goes to second base. It was going to be close at second.
Boy, that was really interesting. They started the runner at first base. There's a check swing, and Albert Pujols was hard charging down the third base line. Yonder Navarro's not going to wait around to hear anything from the umpires. He's going to make the play by himself, and here comes Pujols from third base. He would have been safe at second.
Pujols is on the move at contact. Navarro may have been better off just to hold on to the ball and put a tag on Pujols for the second out. But it's all a moot point, as it was a foul ball. There goes Simmons again. Another foul, and Pujols was running. I think they missed the squeeze. Catcher's interference. Navarro now getting an explanation. And C.B. Buckner says catcher's interference. Navarro's called for catcher's interference, and that will load the bases. Wow. What a sequence of happenings on 2 pitches.
They've been having trouble scoring runs, and we saw them last night use the safety squeeze, and we saw them use the suicide squeeze. Here's the play one more time. It called that catcher's interference as he reaches out, but Albert Pujols once again was coming right down that line. You can see he clearly hits the glove, and here comes Albert on the swing.
He was running like it was going to be a bunt. Maybe Ortega missed the sign. This is Juan Graterol. Graterol making just his second start. He spent 11 years in the minor leagues. He's 27 years old. He spent 9 seasons in the Kansas City Royals minor league system. One out, the bases are loaded. One of the most interesting sequence of two pitches I've seen in a long time.
The check swing and then the foul ball.
And
both times Pujols was running.
That was the
from third.
Curious part of the whole thing. Stroman's ahead 1-2.
Well, the great thing about Marcus Stroman, he leads the major leagues in ground balls. And even if he finds himself in trouble like he does right now in the second inning, with one pitch, he can get out of it. He can get the ball on the ground. Let the infielders do their thing.
Inside, 2-2. The catcher's interference is scored an error on the catcher. No at bat for the batter, so it's another error. Now the 14th error in 16 games committed by the Blue Jays. Breaking ball, he hangs in there and pokes it into the seats. Stroman's got to come up with a strikeout here.
Strikeout or uses two-seamer and let him roll over on that ball, hit it to the left side of the infield and try and turn two. Either one. He's got that ability, the two-seamer or that slider. He goes fastball up and in.
Full count. Pujols started it with a leadoff walk. C.J. Cron was erased on the fielder's choice. Simmons hit that fielder's choice. He's now at second. Ortega reaches base on catcher's interference. Bases loaded, one out. Look out. Shot into the seats on the line.
Well, you're so close here. A lot of ballparks have taken that netting down above the dugouts, but not here in Anaheim. You're so close, right behind the Blue Jays dugout.
Another 3-2 pitch. Hit on the ground. Gonna have to hurry. There's a bobble at first and a wide throw. But they get the runner at first as Pujols comes in to score the first run. The ball wasn't that sharply hit. It was going to be a very difficult double play. And Travis bobbled the ball, and all they can get is the runner at first.
Yeah. Defense, you don't always have to have an error to have bad defense. Edwin Encarnacion goes after this ball, first of all, and then Devin Travis bobbles it and almost throws it away. I mean, as soon as that ball was hit, it just didn't look right, like they were going to turn two. They had the right guy running and Gradinol. They just cannot, again, make the play. What a job by Marcus to save that play.
It would have been another run for sure. The Angels take a 1-0 lead. They get just one hit in the inning. It was a single by C.J. Cron. Pujols walked. He comes around to score on the ground ball. Cliff Pennington, the former Blue Jay, playing second base this afternoon. Ball and a strike to Pennington. Cliff hasn't had much playing time this season, batting .211, 3 homers and 10 RBIs.
And he's basically played when there's been some injuries to some of the infielders for the Angels. Andrelton Simmons missed some time, and we mentioned, Escobar has missed some time. He came up with a few big hits for the Blue Jays when he was with them last year. Hit the home run in New York and helped them win a ball game against the Yankees.
Second and third, 2 outs. A run in here in the bottom of the second inning. The two teams have split the 6 games they've played so far this season. Blue Jays won 2 of 3 here in Anaheim. There's a breaking ball for the strikeout that ends the inning, but the Angels break out on top. Albert Pujols walks and comes around to score the first run of the ball game.
Log in and earn yourself some points simply for watching today's broadcast. Your code today is MBJ1849. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. You have till 4 a.m. to enter that code, and we will have another one for you tomorrow when we're in Seattle. Now we'll get you back to Buck and Pat.
Thank you, Barry. Well, Alex Meyer has recorded 5 strikeouts through 2 innings, and that last strikeout of Diana Navarro to end the second has set a new franchise record in strikeouts, and it's not one that you're really proud of, but that's been a problem for the Blue Jays all season long. The high number of strikeouts. In fact, it's a new franchise record, 1,252 strikeouts for the season. Michael Saunders in the 8th spot. It'll be Saunders, Pilar, and Travis for the Blue Jays. High fly ball. Ortega battling the sun. It's a tough sun, and he plays it off to the side. Good job by Ortega to get his body off to the side and try to look away from that sun as much as he could.
Boy, he positioned himself perfectly to catch that ball. There's not a cloud in the sky today. It's a bright blue sky, and the sun is right in the eyes of the left fielder. So he did the right thing in getting on the side, use his glove to shield the sun away from him, and then catch the ball on the side. Keep an eye on that. Inexperienced outfielders or infielders trying to catch pop-ups today.
Kevin Pillar batting 9th. Kevin had a base hit in 3 at bats in last night's game. Picked up his 12th stolen base of the season. Alex Meyer making his 4th start for the Angels. We mentioned he came over in a trade August 1st from Minnesota. And he's had mixed results, obviously, early on. He hasn't won a game yet.
And you said Seattle hit him pretty hard in his last outing. Just 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. Threw 76 pitches in just 4 innings of work. Today looks a little bit better, a little bit more refined.
And Pilar will take ball 4. Second walk issued by Meyer. He walked Travis to start the game. Now he walks Pilar with 1 out here in the 3rd. Meyer had some trouble with his shoulder early on this season with Minnesota. He was on the disabled list early in the season. He was on the DL until he made his first rehab assignment after the trade with the Arizona team. Arizona Angels on August 12th. That's when he made his first rehab start after coming back from shoulder problems. Devin Travis walked his first time up. 1-0 Angels.
Meyer started this season in the minor leagues. He was with Minnesota, started in their AAA team, and then pitched really well, and then came up to the big leagues, pitched a little bit, didn't have a lot of success, then went back down, almost like Minnesota gave up on him so quickly. This would have been a great year for him. I mean, they're not going anywhere in the standings. A good year for him just to pitch the full year in the major leagues and gain some experience.
Yeah, that would have been exactly the plan I would have taken, given his physical skills and his tool set. He got a big arm with a slider.
All right, now he's got to get on the same page with his catcher. They're not real sure what they want to do here. I'll tell you what, you better be able to catch the ball with that guy as your manager. He has always had great catchers here. And one of the reasons he's had great catchers here is Mike has been able to mentor them and teach them.
There goes Pilar, little looper. That's going to drop for a hit. Pilar is headed for third, and he's going to be stopped there as Devin Travis continues his long hit streak. That's 15 straight games now for Devin Travis. Blue Jays playing hit and run. They got Pilar on the move. He goes first to third.
Well, the Blue Jays, you know, it's no secret they have not been able to swing the bats like we have seen in the past in the month of September, so you got to do something to try and shake it up. And they start Kevin Pilar. Looked like it might have been the hit and run. Devin Travis bloops the ball into right field. Pilar can go all the way to third base, and that's how you set up a big inning. You get the 2 runners on when your big guys are coming up to the plate.
First and third, 1 out for Josh Donaldson. You saw the numbers for Travis in his 15-game hit streak. Donaldson struck out his first time up. He goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Blue Jays are now aware that Meyer has a very firm fastball.
Second time through, starting with the base hit by Travis, so be ready. I think you should always be ready, especially when you've got guys in scoring position. Runner at third base, less than 2 outs. Be ready to knock that run in.
Oh, and 2. There are some Blue Jays on the bench that started in AAA Buffalo that would have seen Meyer pitch down in the minors for Rochester. He pitched his second game of the season at Buffalo on April 15th and pitched a good ball game, 6 1/3. Shut out the Buffalo Bisons on just 3 hits, and he struck out 8. Well, there's some of those players in AAA that would have seen him at that time. Pompey, Siciliani, Goins, those guys that were up and down early in the season.
You pass on that knowledge and you pass on what he did. Now he could be a different pitcher in September than he was in April, but you can tell him, you know, what his release point looks like, what his fastball looks like, if it runs or if it cuts or if it sinks. Does he have a curveball or does he have a slider or does he have a combination of both? From where we sit, it just looks like fastball, breaking ball, changeup.
Meyer wanted that pitch, and it was off the plate, down and away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Donaldson. Breaking ball, hammered to third. Escobar to second for 1. Back to first, double play. Josh Donaldson hit it hard, but right to the third baseman. 5-4-3 on the double play. That ends the inning and the Blue Jays threat.
This Marcus Stroman start is brought to you by BioSteel Sports Nutrition, the natural choice for everyday performance. Drink the pink.
The Blue Jays are down 1-0, and you look at the strike ratio, it's 50-50, and Marcus needs to pitch ahead a little bit more consistently. It was a leadoff walk to Albert Pujols that eventually came around to score. Pujols scored on the ground ball by Juan Gratterall. It's 1-0 Angels. The Blue Jays haven't had very many come-from-behind wins lately. The last one I remember is when Chris Archer was taken out of the game down in Tampa Bay, and they came back and won that game. They rallied late, but well, once they have gotten down lately, it doesn't seem like they can mount a comeback. Escobar jumps on that first pitch and rips it into center. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Lots of good things going on around baseball. Well, in the 9th inning, that's not good news for the Blue Jays, because that means Zach Britton's coming on to pitch for the Orioles, and he has been perfect this season, literally perfect. 44 for 44.
Well, he's due, isn't he?
You could look at it that way.
That's how I look at it.
He's due.
He's due to give it up. They almost had him the other day. They had a runner thrown out at the plate. That would have tied the game.
Cole Calhoun grounded out to second, his first time up. Escobar at first with the leadoff single.
Cole Calhoun's going to try and hook a ball right here. First base. Edwin Encarnacion's got to hold the runner on. Escobar not really a threat to steal, so Eddie's not holding him on as tightly as we have seen in the past, but Cole Calhoun's going to look for a ball that he can hook and pull into right field.
There goes Escobar, and he taps it on the ground. Escobar is at second. Tulowitzki throws to first to retire Calhoun. But the Angels playing hit and run. Calhoun got the ball, got on the ball, and is able to advance Escobar into scoring position.
Got nothing to lose. You need to score more runs. You want to stay out of the double play. Mike Scioscia knows that Marcus Stroman throws a lot of ground ball outs. He wants Mike Trout and Albert Pujols hitting with the runner in scoring position.
Let me ask you this. Would you walk Trout here?
How long do I have to think about this?
Yeah, you got to do it before he throws a pitch. I would walk him.
I would walk him because Pujols can hit ground balls and he doesn't run as well.
Running lick. I would walk Mike Trout right here. Just pitch around him, put him on first base, and take your shot with Pujols.
You're asking for trouble, you know, if you're putting him on.
Well, you're rattling the cage of Albert, obviously, but at the same time, it's a percentage move.
If you try to pitch around Trout and you make a mistake, he's such a good mistake hitter, too.
He went around, and Mike Trout asked for the appeal. C.B. Buckner didn't need an appeal in his mind. So it's 1-1 to Trout. No, it's just a baseball conversation. You know, there's so many different ways to approach the game, but I just think given Pujols and his inability to run, the fact that Mike Trout has been so good, you got a base open, just reduce your chances.
I am also of the thinking that if you make your pitch, you can get good hitters out. And I think it's been proven over time that even the best hitters, if you pitch them tough and you make your pitches and your stuff is good enough, you can get them out.
You get him out 7 out of 10 times.
That's what they're banking on right here.
Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out. The Angels have a 1-0 lead. Breaking ball.
So disciplined. I mean, they don't go out of their comfort zone and swing at pitches out of the strike zone. They're very disciplined. You need to make those pitches to get them out.
The appeal down to first, denied by the first base umpire Jim Reynolds, and Trout does walk to set up the double play. They may have been better off just to issue 4 pitches, and he would have saved those pitches.
Just lob them in there instead. Right.
So that's the second walk issued by Stroman. Now he's got the double play set up. All he's got to do is make sure he makes a good pitch to Pujols. Pujols walked and came around to score the only run of this ball game. That was back in the second.
Marcus can sink the ball. He can make the ball go away from a right-hander.
Inside. The Angels grounded into 3 double plays in last night's game. And they have now hit into a major league high 142 double plays. Breaking ball for a strike.
You're always aware where these two guys are in the lineup. Even when it's, you know, they're hitting 7, 8, and 9, you're always aware that, hey, these guys are coming up and I got to make pitches. I don't want these guys coming up with runners on base. Then I really have to bear down.
Navarro giving C.B. Buckner a good look at that last pitch, but it's ball 2.
You can elect to pitch around them if you want and nibble on the corners, and if you walk them, say, I'd rather take my chances with the guys hitting behind them, but then you're putting more base runners on.
Now there must be a B or something down around first base as everybody is bailing out. Look at it.
Goodness gracious.
Swiping at B's. Umpires, Trout's moving. Everybody's moving away. So there is some kind of infestation on the field, and everybody has gone all the way over to third base.
Look at that. Everybody has sprinted away from him.
The Bees have invaded the infield here in Anaheim. So obviously, as the players
look at the outfielders, they're taking off too.
They're just going to go into the bullpen and probably sit down for a while with the Bees out there, but not sure. There must be a lot of them on the infield because everybody is certainly cleared out. But boy, it came up quickly. Umpires, C.B. Buckner pointing to Gary DiSarcina, the first base coach for the Angels. Everybody is now waiting for the Bees to clear out. Watch Mike Trout at first base and Edwin, and all of a sudden the Bees come into the infield, and Edwin starts swatting at the Bees, and Trout notices too, like, man, look out, and here come the Bees, and then the ball player is going to bail out. So there's not much we can do here as the nature, it's always going to win in these situations.
And if you're a ball player, run. You need to hang around right there.
We have seen some unusual interruptions over the course of some 50 years of baseball, but this is the first time I've had Bees interrupt the game that I've been involved in.
I had a game in Cleveland where a bunch of gnats came down, and they continued to play the game through the gnats, and you'd have to take your glove in between pitches and put it over your face, or they'd fly and get into your eyes and stick to your face. There was that great shot a few years ago of Jabba Chamberlain where
that was in Cleveland. Yeah,
that was in Cleveland also.
Well, while we wait for the Bees to clear out here in Anaheim, let's send it back to Jamie Campbell.
They see something.
Huh?
They see something. They're all looking out.
Oh yeah, they see a big swarm, but I can't see him. I mean, we can't see him on the monitor. Thank you very much, Jamie. Obviously, a lot going on around baseball as Detroit has really had a big inning there. 3 runs in the 9th inning. They take a 9-5 lead, and the Bees are still leading here in Anaheim.
No one can do anything. Everybody just kind of hanging around and waiting for him to leave. I remember also a game in Cleveland. We were playing the Boston Red Sox, and a fog came in off of Lake Erie. And we actually had to stop the game because of the fog. And Bobby Bonds, our hitting coach, was hitting fly balls to the outfielder. They couldn't see the ball, and there was about 45 minutes of delay because of the fog that had come in. And Oil Can Boyd was quoted in the paper the next day saying, "Well, that's what happens when you build a stadium on the ocean."
Well, sometimes it looks like an ocean. But yeah, it's interesting. We obviously have had interruptions over the years. Kelly Gerber hit for the cycle at the exhibition stadium when it was foggy like that. They lost the ball in the fog, and he circled the bases.
Didn't we have a delay in Chicago a couple of years ago because of fog that came in? R.A. Dickey was throwing in that ball game.
Well, while we wait for the beekeeper to show up here in Anaheim, we're going to take a little break and step away.
We can't see it, but it looks like the players are looking out and they can actually see the swarm of bees as it's moving across the infield out to the outfield. What do you do here?
Just wait until they make up their mind to leave, I'm sure. Obviously, it's a health concern. Somebody could be allergic to a bee or something like that to get out there, but Trout and Encarnacion were the first to react to the bees, and then they led the exodus off the field. But now there appears to be a member of the grounds crew out talking to the umpiring crew about the solution. Well, this is something new, and you come to a ball game, you see something new every day. But I would imagine that there would be some sort of maybe a fogger, a smoke, or something that they use to control the bees when they make the changes in a beehive. But I don't know how effective it would be in a wide open space like this. So as we wait for the bees to take a hike, we'll take another break. Thank you, Jamie. We are ready to resume play. It is a 2-1 count on Albert Pujols. Runners at first and second and one out. The Angels lead it 1-0. Pujols goes after the first pitch, and now it's a 2-2 count. "13-minute B delay." That's a first. I've never had a B delay before.
Words that you didn't think you'd have to say while you were in Anaheim today. A B delay.
Traffic jam, yes. B delay, no. 2-2 pitch to Pujols. He waves at that breaking ball and fouls it off.
You can see how he's cut down his swing now that he's gotten 2 strikes against Marcus. A couple of runners on base. That's why he's such a great run producer. He's got the great power and he's got all the hits that you want in your career, but he's a great run producer because he can cut down his swing and foul off and hit good pitching.
Batting .365 with runners in scoring position, less than 2 outs. Breaking ball he lays off. To recap the inning, Yunel Escobar singled on the first pitch to start the inning. Cole Calhoun then grounded out as they were playing hit and run. Escobar was at second when Trout drew a walk, and now it's a 3-2 count to Pujols. There go the runners. The ball is hit on the ground. Tulowitzki will have to go to first. Mike Scioscia, by starting the runners, stays out of a double play. Stroman got the ground ball he was looking for, but the Angels were on the move. And now with 2 outs, there are runners at second and third.
Remember, we were talking, it seems like 20 minutes ago, walking Mike Trout because you have a better chance of hitting a double play from Pujols. Well, they got the double play, but Mike Scioscia has seen that 142 times this year. His team grounding into double play, so he starts the runner smartly. And now C.J. Cron has a chance to drive in a couple of runs.
C.J. Cron singled his first time up this afternoon. He is now 3 for 3 against Marcus Stroman. So Marcus throws a first pitch breaking ball to get ahead. Tried to check his swing, and he went too far, according to the first base umpire, Jim Reynolds. 0-2.
Marcus humped up on that one, threw that one pretty hard, threw it up in the strike zone. That's something that he's been doing a little bit of lately, is changing the eye level of those hitters by using that high fastball.
Breaking ball down and away. Cron is now 3 for 10 in the series. He's missed a lot of time. He suffered a broken hand, and he has just recently come back and done a good job driving in runs, batting behind Albert Pujols. High pop on the infield. Travis, the second baseman, calling for it, and he makes the catch. A nice job by Marcus Stroman to get out of a run scoring situation. We'll go to the 4th. Angels with a 1-0 lead.
Get your 2017 season ticket memberships. The membership includes access to members exclusive events and enrollment into the My Blue Jays member program. You can visit bluejays.com/season tickets for more details. Guys, as those bees started to swarm towards first base and I saw them, I'm thinking, where do I go from here? Do I run or do I just hide into my little cubbyhole? Because I was kind of trapped, guys.
Yeah, we couldn't really see how abundant they were or how many there were or where they were on the field with the fact that we're so far away from the field. But obviously the players were very aware of it and they took a hike quickly. We moved to the fourth and Alex Myers had a long delay as well, 13-minute delay because of the bees, and then he's back on the mound. He got his normal 8 pitches and that's it. Edwin Encarnacion not wasting any time, drills this ball to the wall in left center. He's headed for second and he will get there. Edwin Encarnacion with the leadoff double. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Now the Blue Jays will head north to take on the Mariners for a 3-game series Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday afternoon. And of course the Mariners are in the midst of a wild card race. Jose Bautista takes the first pitch breaking ball.
This time of the year you're always trying to juggle your staff. The Blue Jays might have an advantage there with 6 starters, so you can run out your best starters as many times as possible. They've lined up their 3 best against Seattle. The Mariners have done the same thing. Blue Jays are going to see the best the Mariners have to offer.
Taijuan Walker, Hisashi Iwakuma, and Felix Hernandez are the 3 pitchers for the Mariners the Blue Jays will face in that 3-game series. But that's what you get. John Gibbons to tell you that. Hey, it's big leagues. You get a good pitcher every single night.
And you're in a pennant race and you're going to get everybody's best efforts on every day from here on out.
0-2 to Bautista. Fastball off the plate outside at 97 miles an hour.
I just think that was good hitting by Edwin Encarnacion. We mentioned the delay in the long inning. Alex Myers only got his normal 8 pitches to warm up. That fastball was a get me over fastball. It wasn't that good one that we've seen so far.
Bautista hits it on the ground. They're going to take a shot at third, and another base runner is erased out of scoring position. Encarnacion saw the ball hit behind him, but Cliff Pennington did a terrific job to attack the ground ball and made a strong throw to third, and the base runner Encarnacion is thrown out easily.
What a heads-up play by Cliff Pennington. He's been around a while and he knows the Blue Jays as well as anybody on the Angels. Line drive right back at the pitcher. Your first reaction as the runner at second base is to freeze, which he does, and by that time he doesn't have a chance to move over to third base. Line drive at the pitcher. You saw that Edwin froze, it got by him, and Pennington alertly threw him out at third.
Yeah, once you do that, and Edwin did the right thing on the comeback to the mound, you freeze, but then you have to realize I can't go now because it was a one hopper right to the second baseman. Pennington with a heads-up play, but the Blue Jays lose another base runner from scoring position. Russell Martin called out on strikes his first time up.
That's the bottom line is they didn't get another runner and they couldn't advance him. Ball game yesterday, they had how many leadoff singles or leadoff base runners, just couldn't bring them around. In the first and in the second and the third, the fifth, the sixth, the eighth, you just couldn't bring them around to score.
Yeah, they had plenty of opportunities. Obviously they stranded 12 base runners and were just 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position, and as a result they lost 6-1. Today they trail 1-0. Russell Martin with an 0-2 count. Breaking ball, he pulls it foul. The Orioles, they've already won this afternoon. They beat Tampa Bay 2-1. Zach Britton picks up his 45th save of the season. Brad Brock improves to 10-3. Orioles got home runs from Manny Machado and Mark Trumbo. This is the most important game for the Blue Jays right now. Obviously, they want to win this series before they go to Seattle, but it's going to be an interesting dynamic. The Boston Red Sox are going to go to Baltimore for a 4-game series, while the Blue Jays are playing Seattle. So they could gain ground. They're going to gain ground on somebody as long as they win.
And if they win, try to put a little distance between themselves and the Seattle Mariners, who are right on their tail, just like the Detroit Tigers right on their tail.
Nice block by the catcher.
So it's all about just taking care of your own business, winning your game that day, and everything else will sort itself out.
Now you can see with the Orioles winning, they are 2.5 back of Boston. Boston and the Yankees will play later on tonight. The Blue Jays are 3 back as we speak. 3 games in the loss column behind Boston. So yeah, the 4-game series, Boston in Baltimore for 4 games. The Blue Jays can make up some ground and, like you say, separate themselves from the Seattle Mariners.
It's twofold, that series that's coming up. First of all, got to win this game today, I think. Win this one and then a big series in Seattle. You know, and it doesn't stop there. I mean, the homestand coming up is huge for the Blue Jays.
New York for 4, Baltimore for 3 before they go to Boston for the final weekend of the season. But today the focus is on beating the Angels, and they trail 1-0.
And right now figuring out Alex Myers. Myers has done a good job now pitching shutout ball.
Three-2, Bautista not running, and Martin strikes out. Russell strikes out for the second time. That's 6 strikeouts for Meyer.
A lot has changed in 40 years, but one thing hasn't. Honda, proud fan since 1977, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Two away now for Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki drove a ball into right field deep. It was on the warning track when Cole Calhoun caught it just before he ran into the fence. I don't see Tulowitzki hit that many balls to the opposite field with that much authority, and he crushed it.
His last 4 at-bats, he has hit the ball hard all 4 times. He was robbed of a hit by Mike Trout out in center field in yesterday's game, then hit into a double play. When he hit the ball hard at the shortstop, he then singled, and then you're right, sent Calhoun to the warning track in right field his last time up.
Ball on a strike to Tulowitzki. Ground ball. There's the force at second, and that'll do it. The inning is over. The Blue Jays get a leadoff double and cash it in. Angels lead it 1-0.
know it does. And for a low WestJet fare and daily flights, you know you can book your getaway today at WestJet.com or call your travel agent. And all their flights, guys, are bee-free.
Well, that's good news, Barry, as the Bees interrupted this game for 13 minutes. And now we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Blue Jays trail 1-0. The only run of the game came in on a ground ball by Juan Gratterall, the Angels catcher this afternoon.
That was on a play that looked like they might have been able to get out of the inning with a double play. Mishandled just a little bit by the Blue Jays, and that has been it.
Andrelton Simmons will lead things off for the Angels. There's a base hit into left field for Simmons. 3rd straight inning, the Angels have had the leadoff man aboard.
Simmons has had a good series against the Blue Jays. Now you want that ball away, and you can see how it stays up in the strike zone. Simmons was saying, hey, I am looking for certain pitches in certain spots right now, especially early in the count. He got one there. Picks up his first hit of the afternoon.
He's 4 for 12 in this series, and now he's at first base with nobody out. Rafael Ortega. Don't be surprised if the Angels bunt, play hit and run. They've been aggressive all day. They started the runner with Pujols batting on a 3-2 count, and he was able to advance the runners. He was thrown out at first base.
Yeah, he might give him a shot. One shot to yank the ball to right field. They played hit and run with Cole Calhoun. Helped them stay out of a double play. It looked like something was on when Ortega was up last time when Pujols was at third base.
There goes the runner. Pitch down and in, and Navarro can't handle it. Simmons gets a stolen base. No throw for Simmons. That's his 9th stolen base. He's been caught just once.
Just one time. Aggressively picking on a good pitch. Guessing breaking ball from Marcus Stroman. They get the breaking ball. It's in the dirt, and Simmons is going to be able to move up. There's the backhand attempt by Navarro, and Gianner just can't close the glove quick enough. So the Angels playing it very aggressive this afternoon.
There's a bunt by Ortega. Nice play by Stroman for the out at first. Stroman getting off the mound very quickly. Made a strong throw in time to record the out at first. But on the play, Simmons advances to third base.
Doing everything possible to try and score some runs. It's a good bunt, but an outstanding play by Marcus Stroman. You see how all in one motion he plants his right foot, picks up the ball with his bare hand, and then fires a strike over to first base. That is right before Ortega gets to the bag. Great play by Stroman now. Infield has to come in once again, and they're liable to do anything here.
Yeah, they're liable to squeeze with the catcher, Gratterall. He has the only RBI of the game. Ground ball. Here comes Simmons. Tulowitzki's throw is just in time. They went on contact. Simmons has good speed. Tulowitzki had to make it clean play, and he did.
Well, they hit it to the right guy because he's so sure-handed and so quick, transferring and then throwing on the run. We see him do it day after day after day on a routine ground ball to shortstop. Tulo recognizes the ball, and watch him come charging in, fields it with one hand and throws on the run and throws a strike. Good team defense right there by the Blue Jays. As the infield comes in, the Angels try and steal a run by going on contact, and he's tagged out at home.
That was interesting to watch Navarro as he caught the ball. He had positioned himself in front of home plate, and there's a misconception that catchers can't position themselves there in that situation, but that rule has been changed from its initial iteration. Initially, with the contact play, catchers weren't allowed to set up in front of home plate, but they changed that rule and made an addition to it. And now, because the play happens so quickly, the catchers have to be able to take that position. There's a base hit off the bat of Cliff Pennington. A 2-out single that pushes Gratterall to second.
Yeah, we just had that talk yesterday about the play at the plate where they changed it on the contact play. Happens so quickly, the catchers can barely get out in front like that, but it was executed perfectly by the Blue Jays. And if you're Mike Scioscia, you're probably wishing you tried to make the ball go through that time, because Pennington singled with 2 outs. Hey,
still a 1-0 game.
When you play aggressive baseball, those kind of things are going to happen. You got to take the good with the bad.
Escobar is 1 for 2. He singled to start the 3rd inning. Was stranded at third base. Strike 2.
He swung at his first time up a fastball and got a hit. Marcus said, no more fastballs for you. That tight, late breaking slider has given him the advantage here.
That time he wouldn't chase. The ball was well outside. It's 1-2 to the leadoff man, Yunel Escobar. Runners at first and second. Bouncing ball to short. Tulowitzki in plenty of time, and the inning is over. The Angels strand a pair of base runners. Will go to the 5th. It's 1-0 Angels. Now time for Blue Jays Central Updaters. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Blue Jays Baseball live on your phone and tablet with the MLB.com at-bat app. Customize at-bat to feature the Blue Jays and stay up to the moment at any moment with scores, news, live game video highlights, and much more. Download MLB.com at-bat. It is your #1 app for live baseball. And guys, with Deanna Navarro leading off, I had a chance to speak to him today, and he says the approach the guys have to take is just do whatever it takes to get runners on, to move them over, to score them. And sometimes it means you have to change what your regular approach would be. So far, the Jays are getting the runners on again, but just aren't able to get them over.
They haven't been able to get him over, and Alex Meyer has done a pretty good job. 6 strikeouts. That's a career high for the youngster. He's not pitched an awful lot, but he has 6 strikeouts early in this game.
He's got a nice fastball. It's a little bit like Jared Weaver when he first came up. Remember when Jared Weaver, 6'7", lanky, threw the same type of way, didn't throw this hard, but kind of like him.
Kind of like a slinging arm delivery where he drops it back behind him and then gets a lot of arm speed as he comes through.
Weaver's always had a better breaking ball, but the same type of release point.
Deanna Navarro checks his swing in plenty of time. It's a ball and a strike, and you heard Barry Davis talk about Deanna. His thoughts about what the Blue Jays need to do as hitters: get on base, create something, string things together. They haven't been able to do that. I think everybody's got in their mind, hey, I'll hit a home run and we'll get going, and that'll spark everybody. Well, the Blue Jays have lost 11 straight road games in which they haven't homered. The last time they won a game on the road without hitting a home run, May 26th at New York.
Hey, good pitching stops good hitting, and if you're not hitting home runs, you have to figure out different ways to score runs. This might be a start. You get Deanna Navarro on base. Michael Saunders seems to always have good at bats. You know, he could walk. Now you got something going.
Navarro with a 3-1 count. Bounces it towards second. That's the shortstop, Andrelton Simmons, making the play. Now the Blue Jays picked a tough time to go into a little bit of a slump. They are 5-10 in the month of September. Their ERA nearly 5. They haven't hit much, .232 as a team. They haven't scored often. And look at the home runs. They've been out homered 23-12, but they have committed 13 errors. They've made more errors than they have hit home runs.
Tampa Bay, they played them a couple of times this month. They're not really a team that scores a lot of runs, and Los Angeles isn't a team that hits a lot of home runs, but they've been out homered 23-12 this month.
Michael Saunders, he flied out to left field in the third.
You know, one way you can get started the whole left side again, if he could drop a bunt down, he can walk almost to first base.
Escobar is almost straight away at shortstop, and it looks like he's dealing with bees again.
Bees again. He's got the glove off and he's swatting at something flying around at him. But you can see how deep he is at shortstop.
3-1 now. In case you're just joining us, the ball game was interrupted for 13 minutes as bees had swarmed onto the field, and the Blue Jays and the Angels had to vacate the playing field. That's the third walk issued by Alex Meyer. Comes with 1 out.
The all-new 2017 Ridgeline, our newest vehicle and their newest fan. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We are across the freeway from the Honda Center where the Anaheim Ducks play during the NHL season. Breaking ball downstairs to Kevin Pillar. Angels bullpen starting to move around out in left field. Alex Meyer working into the 5th inning. Last time out he lasted just 4 innings. High fly ball down the right side, but that's going to slice out of play.
Well, that's what you're hoping, I think, right there. There's Jose Valdez starting to warm up. We've seen this now 3 days in a row from Mike Scioscia when they roll around that third time, and I'm talking about Donaldson, Encarnacion, Bautista. He wants to have an arm out there, a fresh arm, preferably a right-hander who throws hard to face those guys in the middle inning.
Well, it was really effective in last night's game. Ricky Nolasco, combination of slow curveballs and off-speed pitches. A splitter, pitched 6 effective innings, and then he went to Valdez, the hard thrower. Got a strikeout of Donaldson to end the 7th. And then it was a steady stream, a parade of relievers for the rest of the game.
We saw Ramirez, the hard thrower, come in against Donaldson the night before. Valdez versus Encarnacion in the 6th on Thursday.
Fifth inning. The only run of this ball game came in bottom of the 2nd inning on a ground ball by Juan Gratterall, the catcher. It's a 1-0 game. Saunders with a good lead at first. Pilar tried to check his swing and went around, according to Jim Reynolds. Reynolds has been aggressive on those check swings, and Pilar is called out for the swing. So another strikeout for Meyer. That's 7 strikeouts. Now Jim Reynolds is getting into a long distance conversation with Kevin Pilar, and John Gibbons had to come out of the dugout to intercede.
Get in between them.
Yep.
Kevin had something to say to the first base umpire. You know, and if you're the manager, you get in between them. You want to save your starting center fielder. This is the check swing, and Kevin doesn't think he goes around on that. Neither did I.
Now, at that time, it didn't look like he went. He checked his swing. It appeared to be in plenty of time. Devin Travis, he's been on base both times he's come to the plate. He walked in the 1st, singled in the 3rd. That single extended his hit streak to 15 straight games. He gets jammed. Escobar at 3rd will take his time, and that'll do it. The Blue Jays are retired in the 5th. They go to the bottom of the 5th. It's a 1-0 game. Bit of a discussion after the inning, and Pilar was walking out to his position, and you can see him talking to first base umpire, and obviously Pilar's expressing his thoughts that he didn't swing at that, and Jim Reynolds comes over so they can have a little conversation about it. And Pilar is talking about his point of view, and Jim Reynolds has had a couple of check swing calls. Pilar, to be quite honest, didn't look like he swung at it, in my opinion. But he's called out on strikes, and then Jose Bautista comes over from right to make sure that everybody stays in the ball game.
Right at the end there, Jose comes over and takes Kevin back out to his position just so he doesn't get thrown out of the game. There's Jose coming over from right field.
So we move to the bottom of the 5th. This is Cole Calhoun, a very aggressive swinger, goes after the first pitch. Calhoun has grounded out twice so far. Marcus Stroman has allowed a run on 4 hits. He has walked a pair, has just 1 strikeout, but he has kept the Angels in check pretty much. The inning was a very interesting one in which they scored. That was the 2nd inning. Pujols walked to start the inning. Cron had a single to center. Then there was a fielder's choice. And Encarnacion made a terrific play on a hot shot grounder. He got the lead runner at second. Pushed Pujols to third, and then Pujols would score on the ground ball.
Did you mention the catcher's interference?
In the middle of that inning, there was a catcher's interference that loaded the bases. That was committed by Navarro on Rafael Ortega. There was a foul ball that bounced on home plate. Looked like it was fair. Navarro played it to second. The runner was safe at second. It was a foul ball. Then there was looked like a squeeze play.
That somebody missed, but catcher's interference was called on the foul ball. And then they would score on a ground out. And
neither team has mounted much of an offense today.
They have had some base runners. The Angels, the last 3 innings, they've left 2 runners on in each inning. Marcus pitching around some leadoff base hits, stranding the runners.
Look out. Hot shot into the seats. Everybody scrambles for that souvenir, but you got to make sure that you keep your head up. Keep an eye on the field. Got him. High fastball does the trick. Calhoun strikes out to start the inning. Second strikeout for Stroman.
We've seen that a little bit more lately from Marcus Stroman, elevating that fastball. When you're a good ground ball pitcher like he is, and you keep the ball down, you cut the ball and you sink the ball down, every now and then you got to elevate. That time he gets a strikeout out of that.
Mike Trout has grounded out and walked. Donaldson made a nice play on Trout going to his left in the first inning. Coming into this game, Trout and Pujols had combined to go 22 for 48 against the Blue Jays this season in the first 6 games. Today they are 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. They've each walked once.
Yeah, if you're the Jays, you'd love to stay away from Mike Trout and stay away from his power.
Fights that one off, hits it down the right field line. Bautista's going to have to hurry. Here's the throw to second. Trout's on his way. He slides in safely. Mike Trout with a hustle double. Dumped it down the right field line for Trout. That's his 31st double of the season.
You know, whenever you watch Mike Trout run the bases, it's almost like he's got another gear that he can shift it into third, downshift into fourth, but then have another gear and turn it on when he's got to get in to second base like he did right there. He's jammed on this pitch from Stroman. Makes a good pitch, but he muscles it down the right field line. Jose Bautista comes over, and watch how quickly he gets rid of it and how accurately he gets the ball to second base. But Mike Trout, once he hit first base, there was another gear, and he found it and took off, puts his head down, knows it's going to be close, and slides in just ahead of the tag. Look at those numbers versus the Blue Jays this year.
Batting .480, and we've talked to the Blue Jays coaching staff about Mike Trout. I said, well, he's a great hitter to begin with, but if you make a mistake, and that last pitch wasn't a mistake, he had a good pitch, a fastball inside. He stayed inside it and hit it down the line.
Look, these two guys, and we're talking about the guy at second base, Trout, and the guy hitting, they're Hall of Fame talent. And that's what they're paid to do. They're paid to hit. So you make your pitch, you can get them out. If you make a mistake, they're going to hit it.
And when they're hot, they don't miss any mistakes. You make the slightest mistake, they'll hit it hard. He waves at that breaking ball. You've seen great hitters, and the Blue Jays have a ton of good hitters on their team, but there'll be times when they're struggling. They'll get mistakes out over the plate and foul them straight back. But right now, against the Blue Jays, Pujols and Trout, whenever you make a mistake, it's going to cost you.
Over the course of a long season, a 6-month season, yeah, you go through those ups and downs where you miss your pitch and you foul it back. But the great ones have that ability to come right back.
Pujols lines it into right. Trout is being waved around third. Here's the throw to the plate. It is a good one, and they tag him. Trout took his hand away from Navarro. Navarro went for the tag, and it looked like he missed the tag on Trout, and the Blue Jays are going to have a look at their video replay.
What a throw.
Bautista made a strong throw.
What a throw from Jose, and that was right on target. He got a beautiful ball to handle. It was a one-hopper right to him. He came up charging and made a strong and accurate throw at the plate. But we'll have to take a look at the replay ourselves to see if Trout was able to avoid that tag. It looked like Navarro had the ball in time. One more time. There's the one hopper. Look at the throw from Jose. One hop right on the plate. And Mike Trout says, I'm safe.
Watch Trout's left hand as he reaches back to make the tag on home plate. There, he swipes his hand across the plate, and Trout looks up at C.B. Buckner and said, I'm safe. But Navarro went for the foot, and when it wasn't there, Trout pulled his hand back and then regrouped.
Did you see?
Swiped his hand over the plate.
Did you see the bat right in the way? So he's got to slide around the bat. Look how far he has to go back, and then he comes in and just tags the plate.
What a slide. Fouled straight back. Here's another thing, and it's a result of the rule at home plate where catcher has to give the guy lane. Once Navarro got that ball, he can block home plate, and if he blocks home plate, Trout has nowhere to go. All you got to do is slide to your knees, block home plate. Trout has already initiated his slide. He obviously had a path to home plate, but so many catchers now use that swipe tag instead of blocking home plate. If he blocks home plate, Trout's got no chance of scoring.
Almost like you dive on the plate. Catch the ball. Once you have the ball, you can jump down on the plate and block him off the plate. But Trout, that's a great slow motion shot right there, showing the missed tag, and then Trout going in and touching home plate with his fingertips.
Well, another illustration of just how instinctive Mike Trout is. I mean, he's slid, running full speed, and then offered his hand, pulled it back, and went back and retouched home.
The ball was hit so hard, and he was, when Jose had the ball, he was maybe a step from third base. So they had a great shot at getting him.
Stroman makes the play on the bouncing ball and throws Crone out. Another look at the play at home plate.
Here's the bat. He's got to slide around the bat. Swipe tag. Doesn't get him. And then he just trickles his hand in there and gets his fingertips on the plate. Good call by the home plate umpire, C.B. Buckner.
Yeah, and I tell you, if Navarro just takes a step to his left, 1 foot, put the left foot in front of the base, and then go down to a knee, Trout can't even reach home plate. And that's something that the catchers just don't do anymore, and they have the right to do that. Austin Romine did it on a wild pitch on Saturday at Boston and got Hanley Ramirez. But once the catcher has the ball in his possession, he can block home plate.
That's the misconception right there. You gave him a lane to slide, which he did.
2-0 Angels. Trout and Pujols once again factoring into the run. Simmons, what a nice play by Edwin. He's going to have to hurry. He gets there just in time, and he slides to get the bag ahead of Simmons. Edwin has played very well at first base all season long. He makes another fine play to save another run. Simmons making a bid for an RBI single. Good stop by the first baseman, and then it's a foot race, and Edwin wins it. Making his fourth start of the season. Those 5 innings allows just 2 hits, no runs, and threw 79 pitches. And as Pat mentioned earlier, Mike Scioscia has done this throughout the series. His starter pitches twice through the order, and then he brings in a hard thrower out of the bullpen to face the meat of the order. But Alex Meyer in line for his first big league win.
7 punch outs. He struck out 5 of the first 7 batters that he faces. And here's Jose Valdez. We have seen him a few times. Saw him in yesterday's ball game, and we also saw him on Thursday night's game. And he comes in to face these 3 hitters: Donaldson, Encarnacion, Bautista. Hard throwing right-hander in 19 games this year is 1-3.
Valdez,
good stuff.
Struck out Donaldson in the game last night. The only batter he faced, that was in the 7th inning, and he's got a big arm. He struck out Encarnacion on Thursday night and then gave up a 3-run home run to Russell Martin. Angels lead at 2-0. First pitch all the way back to the backstop. The Baltimore Orioles won already today. They beat Tampa Bay 2-1. And they had a couple more big home runs. Mark Trumbo hit his 43rd home run of the season. Manny Machado hit his 36th. All their runs coming on home runs once again. Trumbo now has 101 RBIs. Machado has 93. Brad Brock was the winning pitcher in relief. He improves to 10-3, and Zach Britton picked up his 45th save.
Get enough innings out of your starter, turn it over to the bullpen, finish it off with Britton, and hit a fair share of home runs. That's been the recipe for the Baltimore Orioles all season long. And right now, they are tied with the Blue Jays for the wild card.
Donaldson takes a strike. He can't believe it. He's checking with CB Buckner. He says, "Are you kidding me? That thing was off the plate inside." So now it's a 2-2 count on Donaldson, leading off the 6th. Baltimore has now hit 236 home runs. That's ball 3. 3-2. It's Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Bautista, the meat of the order for the Blue Jays. The Jays have just 2 hits this afternoon. Devin Travis, he gets one every day. And Edwin Encarnacion, he has a double. Donaldson takes the leadoff walk. So the Blue Jays get a leadoff walk to start the inning for Donaldson. That's his 100th walk of the season. He ties Mike Trout in that category.
Amazing.
Check that. Trout walk today. He has 101. Now Donaldson is one behind Trout with his 100th walk of the season.
Great on base percentage, and then you get guys on for your big RBI men. Encarnacion, 118 RBIs now.
Edwin doubled in the 4th. That was his 200th career double as a Blue Jay. He has 309 doubles overall, but a milestone double his last time up in the 4th. Edwin reacting the same way on that inside fastball that Donaldson did. He thought it was off the plate inside, but C.B. Buckner called it for strike 2.
Well, he knows that Valdez can be erratic at times, and he doesn't have the best of control. So those borderline pitches, hoping to get those borderline pitches, but according to Pitch Tracker, those things look like they're right on the corner.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
We've seen a few relievers this series from the Los Angeles Angels, haven't we? 6 of them yesterday to get 3 innings after the starter, Ricky Nolasco, went out.
They used 3 in Friday's game and 5 on Thursday, and Encarnacion strikes out. First out of the inning. Blue Jays have now struck out 8 times this afternoon. They set a new franchise record in strikeouts back in the 2nd when Navarro struck out. That was a new franchise high in strikeouts.
Valdez has swing and miss stuff. Showed it off right there to Encarnacion.
Jose Bautista has struck out and reached on a fielder's choice, and he bends back from that fastball. You mentioned the Blue Jays haven't had too many come from behind wins lately. They have just 31 for the season, and they're having to play catch up here this afternoon once again. They trail 2-0.
Catch one out front right here. 2-0. He tried, didn't he?
He was thinking along the same lines. He started that bat and got out in front of that pitch. It's now 2 balls and a strike. Now it's 2-2. Donaldson at first. He started the inning with the walk. Strike 3 call. Bautista caught looking at strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Valdez here in the 6th.
He's got that ability to do that. You can see that last pitch, the one, that red one, looks like it might have been outside. Jose usually has a pretty good eye, and he doesn't take those type of pitches. He knows it's off the plate, and he reacts accordingly.
Yeah, he's got an excellent eye, and that ball looked like it was off the plate. Russell Martin, the DH this afternoon, he struck out twice, once looking and once swinging. Russell hit the 3-run home run off Valdez in the 6th inning of Thursday's game.
That was in a 3-1 count. Shortened it up and knocked it out of here. They're not holding Josh Donaldson on at first base now. After those 2 strikeouts, they're going to cover up that hole just a little bit.
Two and one now to Russ Martin. Once again, Blue Jays have just 2 hits. Devin Travis a single in the 3rd, Encarnacion a leadoff double in the 4th, and that's been it. They just haven't had much offense throughout the entire month of September.
No, they haven't. They haven't come up with the big base hit. This is a chance to right here. This is the same count that Russell had the other night when he homered. 3-1.
Blue Jays are 5-10 in the month of September. Here's the 3-1 to Martin. Fouled it back. Full count now with 2 outs. So Donaldson at first base will get a running start. Tulowitzki is on deck. The Angels bullpen beginning to go to work again as Mike Scioscia's got a full complement of pitchers down there, and he's not afraid to use them.
Plenty of options, and he'll match up.
There goes Donaldson. Martin strikes out. He has struck out 3 times. Valdez, after the leadoff walk, strikes out the side in the 6th. The Angels still holding a 2-0 lead. Jet. And after this game here in Anaheim, we'll jump on a plane and go to Seattle to take on the Mariners for a 3-game series. The Wednesday game, take note, is an afternoon game. The Blue Jays will have an off day on Thursday before the Yankees come in for a wraparound weekend series. 4 games against New York, 3 games against Baltimore, and that'll wrap up the home portion of the Blue Jays schedule. And the Jays will go to Boston for the final series of the season. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Can't wait to get up to Seattle. That's almost like a home game. That should be colored blue right there because it's like a home game for the Blue Jays, and they need it because Seattle is winning big again this afternoon, 7-1 over Houston. So Blue Jays need to win this one to get some momentum before they head to Seattle. They're going to see the 3 best that the Mariners have to offer.
Taijuan Walker, Hisashi Iwakuma, and Felix Hernandez will be the scheduled pitchers for Seattle. Marcus Stroman working in the 6th, and you look at his line, it's not bad at all. 2 runs on 6 hits, but the Blue Jays haven't been able to muster any offense. There's a liner to right. Bautista is going to have to play it on the bounce. Ortega has his first hit of the afternoon.
This is when Mike Scioscia, the manager of the Los Angeles Angels, started putting his runners in motion. He's used the bunt. He has used the hit and run. Ortega been on base a couple of times, gets this low pitch and goes down and golfs it into right field for a leadoff single.
Juan Gratterall, the catcher, drove in the first run of the game back in the second with a ground ball to second base. He drove home Albert Pujols from third. The Angels have been active playing hit and run, using the stolen base. They've tried all kinds of offensive weapons. Blue Jays think they've got something up here.
Yeah, they've got the leadoff runner on 4 times now out of 6 innings, and Mike Scioscia, whenever he gets that lead runner on, he wants to get him in the scoring position and take a couple of shots at knocking him in, and they're liable to do anything.
Squares to bunt, and bunts it hard to third base, and it'll go foul. Gratterall squared around early, just bunted it too hard. Gratterall played 68 games at AAA Salt Lake City for the Angels. He hit 300. He was in a backup role. He is from Venezuela. As we mentioned, he started out his career 9 years in the Kansas City Royals minor league system. He played 2015 in the Yankees system, and then this year in AAA with the Angels. Donaldson creeping in at third. High fastball.
Josh anticipating that ball, bunted to him firmly again. And you know, if you're a third baseman and you get a bunt like that at you firm, first play should be second to first, double play. You don't automatically go over to first base. And you can see Josh, he's really starting to cheat in now.
1-1 count to Gratterall. He squares again and bunts it foul. We have not seen a terrific demonstration of bunting skills throughout the 4-game series here in Anaheim. There have been a lot of pokes and jabs at bunts, and they haven't been very effective. Rafael Ortega dropped down a perfect bunt in the 4th inning. He got a sacrifice down. He was able to advance the runner from second to third. But then Simmons was thrown out trying to score on a contact play. One and two. There goes the runner. Swing and a miss. The throw from Navarro is a short hop. And late at second, Devin Travis hung in there and took the low throw. Tried to put the tag on Ortega.
And they'll take a look at it again. Told you he's liable to do anything. 0-2, they start the runner over at first base. Blue Jays trying to get this, strike him out, throw him out. Ortega got 6 stolen bases now. They send the runner. It looked like it was a high tag and that he got his hands in there one more time as the ball goes down, and watch the gloves, got to stay up there and wait for the ball. By the time he goes down and tags it, it looks like Ortega's fingers are on the base, but it looks like the Blue Jays are going to take a look one more time.
Ortega had 14 steals in AAA in Salt Lake City. That is his 6th stolen base since coming up to the Angels, and the umpiring crew is going to have a chat with New York. This replay review is powered by Samsung. Gratterall struck out on the throw from Navarro. It was low in the dirt. Travis had good position, but he had to make sure he caught the one hopper before he put the tag on Ortega. Gary DiSarcina, the first base coach, chatting with Ortega. One more look at the tag from
Looked like
Travis.
The helmet came off and then it hits his glove, but that doesn't count as a tag because he's not wearing it. And then the hands get in, and by the time Devin tagged him, looks like he's going to be safe.
Yeah, the umpires confirming the call on the field, so it is a stolen base, number 6 for Ortega, and he is at second base with 1 out.
How about the aggressive nature that the Angels have played this game today?
They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. They have tried squeeze plays, they have tried bunts, stolen bases, And right there, they started to run it with 2 strikes. Second stolen base they have picked up. Cliff Pennington singled his last time up. He cut a single into left field. Pennington again slicing that ball. This one's foul.
That's why you see the defense sliced over towards the left field. Michael Saunders, the left fielder, you can see he's shallow, and he is playing Pennington to hit the ball to him.
Stays back on that breaking ball, and Stroman's ahead 0-2. Well, the Blue Jays cannot afford to give up any more runs. They can't get anything going offensively, and they already trail by 2. Stroman's done a pretty good job with runners in scoring position. This is a fly ball to center. Pilar comes in a few steps, makes the catch.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Another gorgeous afternoon here in Southern California. Marcus Stroman has now held the Angels to a 1-for-11 this afternoon with runners in scoring position.
Be careful on the first pitch here to Escobar.
He's coming out of his shoes in the first pitch.
Might throw him a breaking ball right here, first pitch.
High fastball. Escobar's 1 for 3. He had a first pitch single in the 3rd inning. He singled to center. It's 2 balls and no strikes. It's a breaking ball for strike. Blue Jays won the first 2 games of this 4-game series. Angels won last night 6-1. Popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout, and Connoisseur will watch it sail over the dugout. Ricky Nolasco picked up his 6th win of the season. He threw 6 innings of shutout ball, allowed 5 hits. And the bullpen took over from there. Blue Jays scored just 1 run.
Yeah, just 1 run. That was in the 8th inning. This afternoon they haven't been able to break through yet.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Stroman stepped off the rubber. He wants to think about this next pitch. Now they're going to talk about it. Marcus has something on his mind. He didn't get the pitch he wanted, so he and Navarro will discuss it.
Deanna caught him last year, so he knows what he wants to do in this situation. This might be his last batter of the afternoon. You see Brett Cecil standing out there behind Paul Quantrill. You got a left-hander on deck, and they've got Cecil warmed and ready to go in case you need him.
He appealed down to Jim Reynolds. He said no swing, and Kevin Pillar's out there in center saying that's the same thing I did, and you called me out. Full count. Ortega at second. There are 2 outs. Line drive into center, and that's going to hang up for Pilar. That ends the inning. The Angels leave a base runner. We'll go to the 7th. Blue Jays are down by 2. Tulowitzki, Navarro, and Saunders when we come back.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new 2017 Ridgeline. A lot of things have changed, but one thing hasn't. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Proud fan since 1977.
Marcus Stroman, it's congratulations for a good effort today. He's held the Angels 2 runs on 7 hits through 6 innings. So there'll be a new pitcher for the Blue Jays, and there is a new pitcher for the Angels. Deolis Guerra comes in for the Angels. The parade continues for Mike Scioscia out of the bullpen.
We saw Guerra on Thursday. We saw him on Friday. He had the day off yesterday when they used 6 relievers. Now we get to see him on Sunday. He's done a pretty good job. The youngster's 3-0 with 326 earned run average. He's got a good changeup. Blue Jays torched him on Thursday, and then he just threw on Friday just 2/3 of an inning and had a walk in that game. So he's known to throw strikes, but he's been a little bit wild. And you know what the Blue Jays haven't done? They haven't swung at that changeup. He's got a very good changeup, and it's been off the plate. They haven't swung at it.
Blue Jays scored 2 runs on 4 hits against Guerra on Thursday. He got just 1 out. He struck out Michael Saunders to start the outing, and then the roof caved in. Pilar doubled, Barney singled, Travis had a 2-run single, then Donaldson singled. Then Encarnacion walked, and that was the end of the inning for Guerra. Troy Tulowitzki with a 2-0 count. It's 2-0, but it seems like it's 8-0. Blue Jays haven't had much offense at all. But you get a guy on, somebody runs into one, and all of a sudden you're right back in the game.
Tough to keep a good offense down. You know, you're facing a bullpen that has had their problems. Get that first guy on. Get something started. We'll probably see the parade of relievers if they do, as Mike Scioscia starts to match up against the Blue Jays and John Gibbons.
Two and two now to Tulowitzki. Baltimore won earlier today. So as we speak, they have a half-game lead over the Blue Jays in the wild card standings. Gloved by Escobar at third. In time. Nice play at third by Yunel Escobar.
He spent the majority of his career at shortstop when he was with the Braves and the Blue Jays. This is just his second year at play at third base. And this time he's going to rob Tulowitzki. Tulo's hit the ball sharply this whole series and doesn't have much to show for it, as he is robbed by Escobar with a nice play on the short hop and then that strong arm for the first out.
John Navarro, the catcher this afternoon, has struck out and grounded out. Guerra throws the first pitch strike. Breaking ball for strike 2. There's a base hit the other way off the bat of Diana Navarro. It comes with 1 out.
Take advantage of the shift. Wait just a little bit longer. As you see, Guerra tries to fool him, and Navarro, too good of a hitter, just shoots it the other way. Guerra was a Rule 5 pick from the Pirates this past December. They wanted to make some adjustments to his delivery. They got a quicker leg kick. He's got more energy in his delivery, and he's done okay for a young player.
Saunders goes after the first pitch and swings and misses. Michael faced Guerra on Thursday, leading off the 9th inning, and he struck out. And Guerra had all sorts of problems. He had to be taken out. The only batter he retired. Another changeup and a good one.
Yeah, he's got some good fade on that changeup. That's why he can be tough on the left-handed batters. Got to respect his fastball. If you've seen him hit 94 miles an hour with that fastball, it's a good combination with that change.
Guerra is 27 years old. He signed originally with the Mets as an amateur free agent. He is from Venezuela. As Pat mentioned, he pitched for the Pirates last year, appeared in 10 games, was 2-0. Managed just 16 2/3 innings pitching for Pittsburgh. Another changeup and a strikeout for Guerra, 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Top of the 7th inning, 2 outs. The Angels have a 2-0 lead. Kevin Pillar has walked and struck out. Where the strikeouts have been prominent again today for the Blue Jays. They've struck out 11 times and they've established a new franchise record for strikeouts in a season.
Everybody at least one time this afternoon except Devin Travis and Troy Tulowitzki.
Ground ball up the middle. Simmons will flip to second, and that'll do it. Blue Jays are done in the top of the 7th. They get a base hit, leave a man. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th still. 2-0 Angels. as far as the best player in the game, and we have seen some of his skills on display in this series.
Well, how about this slide into third base to avoid the tag from Josh Donaldson in last night's ball game? And then this afternoon, he avoids the tag from Deoner Navarro. Deoner was out there trying to tag him. He avoids it. He scores the run. He's got great physical skills, and he's got that baseball intangible feel for the game of baseball when he's on the bases or when he's out into the outfield. He's a wonderful player, one of the best players in all of baseball.
He just turned 25 years old, and he has had a great start to his career. He's been involved today offensively. He has scored the second run of the game. He has walked, doubled in on one for two. New pitcher into the game for the Blue Jays will be the lefty Brett Cecil to come on to start the inning and face Cole Calhoun.
First time that we have seen Brett in this series. You got a left-hander in Calhoun, Trout, Pujols, and Cron, some right-handers. So you hope you can get an inning out of Cecil this afternoon. Brett is 1-7. His ERA is at 4.26, but he's been throwing the ball better. His curveball, I think, is the big pitch for him. He's starting to break it off just a little bit better, throwing it for strikes. Get ahead early. If you can get ahead early, then you can use that breaking ball to finish off the left-handers. We'll see how John Gibbons plays this one. He might even be in there for just one batter, the left-hander Calhoun.
Marcus Stroman was the starter. He goes 6 innings, allows 7 hits, 2 earned runs, threw 105 pitches, walked 2 and struck out 3. And as we mentioned in our open, Trout and Pujols both having an impact. Pujols scored the first run of the game after a leadoff walk in the second, and Trout scored the second run of the game in the 5th after he hit a 1-out double and came in to score on the base hit by Albert Pujols. So as much as you focus on Trout and Pujols, it's difficult to shut them down.
Yeah, you know where they are in the lineup. You know when they're coming up. You hope you get some guys off of base before they come up. You're always aware. You know, when you sit in those pitchers meetings and you talk about how you're going to pitch to the Angels, you say, who do we not want to have beat us? Well, when you face the Angels, it's 2 guys, not just one.
Trout and Pujols, and they've been the main part of the offense today. Cecil to Cole Calhoun. There's pitches upstairs for a ball. There's a strike. It's 1-1. He dropped that curveball in there.
Yeah, that's the key pitch for him right there. What we were talking about, that can neutralize left-handed hitters. Normally has pretty good numbers against lefties. This year they're hitting .276 against Brett.
Fastball away. He had talked to Brett about simplifying his approach, and it seemed to really have helped him sort things out here in the second half of the season.
Go along with what the catcher is putting down, and all you have to do is think about executing your pitches. That's his value right there. He's able to throw that curveball when he's behind in the count. And he gets a lot of swings and misses with it.
2-2 to the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the 7th. And there's that swing and a miss breaking ball. So Cecil gets his man, Cole Calhoun. John Gibbons already out of the Blue Jays dugout. He'll make a call to the bullpen. So there's 1 out here in the 7th. Cecil gets his man. Now Joe Biagini will come in to face Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. Biagini got out of a tough situation here the other night. He is on to face Mike Trout in this 2-run game. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays, proud fans since 1977.
You know, we've been talking all series about the influence of Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, and they're at it again. They're going to be the drives of the game. First, this double by Trout as he uses his legs to get into scoring position. Then right behind him, Albert Pujols is going to drive in his 112th run of the season. A good throw from Bautista. But then the legs once again of Mike Trout and the niftiness around home plate scores another run and gets Albert Pujols an RBI. The drives of the game brought to you by the middle of the lineup for the Los Angeles Angels.
So Trout and Pujols again doing the damage for the Angels against the Blue Jays. Joe Biagini, boy, he had a terrific outing on Friday. He inherited a second and third nobody out situation, walked the first man, but was able to strand the bases loaded.
For that, he got himself a hold. Walked that first guy to load him up, but then pitched out of it. Got a strikeout and a comebacker and then a fly ball.
Biagini making his 55th appearance of the season. Misses with the second pitch. It's 2-0 to Trout. Joe's had a terrific first season in the major leagues. He's thrown a total of 62 innings this year.
I like this, that they're giving him a little bit tougher assignment right now. Mike Trout.
He falls behind 3-0. Brett Cecil started the inning and struck out Cole Calhoun. Pujols is next. A 4-pitch walk to Trout. He walks for a second time this afternoon. Trout leads the American League in base on balls.
He's disciplined at the plate. Won't go outside the strike zone. He's going to pass it over to Albert Pujols. You got to figure that Mike Trout's going to try and get himself into scoring position. We have seen it all afternoon long by the Angels being very aggressive on the bases.
Angels have 2 stolen bases. Simmons stole a base in the 4th, as did Ortega in the 6th. Pujols takes a strike. There goes Trout. Ground ball through the right side. That'll be a base hit. Trout is headed for third. Pujols just stroked it through the right side. Travis had the coverage at second. He had vacated his position to cover the bag, and Pujols grounds it through the hole.
You want to see a great hitter. This was by design. He was trying to go there as soon as Mike Trout takes off. He knows if I can roll a ball on the right side of the infield, I'm going to get a hit. Number one. Number two, I'm going to send Mike Trout over to third base for my team to score another run. That ball barely gets into the outfield. But it's a line drive in the newspaper tomorrow.
Again, the combination of Trout and Pujols, they've been on base 6 times today in 8 plate appearances. C.J. Cron. A breaking ball upstairs. Cron singled his first time up. He's 1 for 3. Blue Jays turned 3 double plays in the game last night. They haven't turned one this afternoon. They could use one right now.
They got the right guy at the plate if they want to.
Popped back over the screen, out of play. Cron was out in front of that curveball. There goes Pujols. He starts at first. They got a shot to double him up. Bautista's throw is high, and now Trout comes in to score. Encarnacion had gone back to the bag with Pujols running. Jose made the catch and tried to double off Pujols, which would have ended the inning.
You know, like we said, you're liable to see anything from Mike Scioscia this afternoon as they try to manufacture runs. They start the runner at first base like they were playing hit and run. You get the ball on the ground, you're going to get an RBI, ground out, and a runner in scoring position. But when the ball goes into the outfield, you see Pujols checking to see. Jose's got an outstanding chance to get him at first base, but he overthrows first base like he was trying to get Trout at the plate. No chance to get Mike there. And they do manufacture another run.
Trout scores from third on the sac fly.
He had an outstanding chance, a great chance to get Pujols at first base. You can see that throw over the head of Encarnacion.
Three nothing Angels. Bautista overthrew first in an opportunity to double off Pujols. That would have ended the inning. Now Pujols is at first for Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, that's where communication is paramount right there as a fielder. You're concentrating on the ball. You're relying on the guys around you to tell you where to throw the ball. Looked like Jose came up to try and get Mike Trout.
Well, Jose's got to see Pujols running. He's right in front of him, so I'm sure he knew that Pujols was near second base. So when the ball was thrown, pitch was made, Pujols was on the move. So as a right fielder, that plays right in front of you. You have to know that Pujols is near second base when you catch the ball. I just think he overthrew first. 2 outs. Simmons is 1 for 3. Ball 4.
Well, that's one thing that the Angels have done well this year. They're not a powerhouse offensively by no means, but they've been able to get the runner in from third base with less than 2 outs. They've had the highest percentage this year of scoring that runner from third base with less than 2 outs. And when you've got speed like that, really no chance to get him. That fly ball is far enough that you're not going to get Trout at home.
Well, you come into a game, you come into a series and say, well, let's make sure Trout and Pujols don't beat us. Well, they've done it almost single-handedly today. Trout has scored 2 runs, Albert has scored 1 run, and Pujols has driven in 1.
They've been on base 6 times this afternoon.
Ortega lifts a little pop about into shallow left. Saunders is not going to make a play. Pujols is in to score. And now they let Ortega go into second. Michael Saunders just lobbed it back into the infield. Ortega with his head up takes advantage of that throw. And the Angels are certainly outplaying the Blue Jays in every aspect of this game.
Out hustling. They're out. They're ready to take advantage of mistakes. Ball wasn't hit that hard out into no man's land, and Michael Saunders smothers it. Okay, that happens. But then when you come up and you just lob the ball back in and allow that back runner to move up, the Angels are outplaying the Blue Jays the last 2 days.
4-0 Angels.
Ortega.
Here's the base runner, Ortega.
Watch it. He's watching the outfielder. You take a wide turn, and then when you see the guy just lob it into third base, makes it easily. Now they've got 2 runners in scoring position.
Simmons ends up at third on the base hit. Juan Gratterall slices this one hard into the seats. Gratterall is 0 for 3, but picked up an RBI. He drives in the first run of the game, way back in the second. Brett Cecil started the inning. He struck out Cole Calhoun, the only batter he faced. Then Biagini came in. He walked Trout, gave up a single to Pujols, sacked 5 Cron, walked Simmons, and then gives up a bloop base hit to Ortega. This is out of play once again.
Everybody should be starting to shift over to right because he's not catching up on that fastball. Hitting everything to the right side. Two big add-on runs for the Angels here in the 7th inning.
Same thing they did in last night's game. They scored 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. Breaking ball downstairs. Full count now. Graterol is the 7th Angel to bat in this inning. Little pop up. Tulowitzki out into the outfield grass makes the catch, and the inning is over. But the Angels score 2 more runs on 2 hits and 2 walks. They leave a pair, and they've taken a 4-0 lead as we head to the 8th.
The Sportsnet app lets you see everything that the Blue Jays do. Stay up to date with the latest scores, breaking news, game highlights, and analysis of Canada's team. Plus, never miss a single pitch with our in-depth live game tracker. It's available on iOS and Android devices. We'll get you back now to Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. We move to the 8th inning, and the Angels have a 4-0 lead. The Blue Jays have managed just 3 hits, and they haven't been able to get anything going offensively. And yet another pitcher coming out of the Angels bullpen. It's J.C. Ramirez.
They got 5 innings from their starter this afternoon, Alex Meyer. He had 2, gave up 2 hits. Valdez threw an inning, didn't give up a hit. We saw Garrett last inning. He gave up a hit and had a strikeout. Now it's J.C. Ramirez. He was cleaned off waivers from the Cincinnati Reds on June the 26th. They needed some arms in that bullpen, claimed him off waivers. Throws hard. We've seen him one time in this series.
They mentioned because of the injuries, 9 of the 16 pitchers currently on this Angels roster weren't with the organization at the start of spring. They've really had to shop around and come up with some able-bodied pitchers. Top of the order for the Blue Jays here in the 8th. Travis Donaldson and Encarnacion. 2-0.
He pitched the other day and he threw an inning and a third and had 3 walks. Another one of those big arms, but he's liable to fall behind these hitters.
You have to make him throw a strike. He had 3 walks, and that was it. 3 ground ball outs and a pop out. Josh Donaldson waits on deck. This will be the best opportunity for the Blue Jays to get back in this game here in the 8th. There's a strike. 3-1. Leadoff walk for Travis as Ramirez continues to have his problems with the base on balls.
And if you're the Blue Jays, wait him out. They bring in another hard thrower to face Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Bautista. It worked out for them. The last time they did that back in the 6th inning, Valdez struck out the side.
So Josh Donaldson will bat. He is 0 for 2. Donaldson takes strike 1. Donaldson faced Ramirez on Friday night and walked. It was the first batter he faced. That was in the 7th. Ramirez came in, walked Donaldson, then got Encarnacion. Took ground out to end the inning. And JC Ramirez pitched the 8th inning, had a couple of walks, but no damage in that 8th inning.
'96.
We've seen some quality arms out of the Angels bullpen. Command has been an issue.
Yeah, they haven't been polished, but they've got some arms. Valdez throws hard and Ramirez throws hard. And they're always facing these guys right here.
Donaldson strikes out. That's the first out, top half of the 8th inning.
I mentioned Ramirez pitched the other day, did not have a strikeout, so he's going to pick up his first one here. That's a slider. And Josh can't come up with it.
It's a 12th strikeout by the Blue Jays this afternoon. First pitch breaking ball for a strike. 12 strikeouts, another double-digit strikeout game for the Blue Jays. They've had 48 double-digit strikeout games on offense this season. Last year they struck out 10 or more times, just 28 times all season long, but this year the strikeout has been far too frequent. C.B. Buckner, the home plate umpire, took a pretty good shot on that foul tip.
That one rocked his world just a little bit. It's been a long afternoon for the umpires. Remember, they had the 13-minute delay. That one right off the mask and then off the shoulder. Listen to this.
Well, that hit him flush on the collarbone, and that's a area that's really not that greatly protected. Going to have movement, obviously, around your neck, and it hit him right on the collarbone. It appears to be okay. We were talking about this the other day with the advent of that inside chest protector, how the umpires are more vulnerable to those foul tips. And you and I both remember the umpires in the American League using that big balloon protector.
That was just a loud thud. That's all it was when it hit that. No problem. They hide behind that thing. Haven't seen one of those in decades now.
Yeah, we're both dating ourselves for sure. It's an 0-2 count on Encarnacion. He gets a piece of it and stays alive. This is the final game between the Angels and the Blue Jays this season. The two teams have split the first 6 games. And then the Blue Jays will go up to Seattle for a 3-game series. The Mariners are leading the Astros 7-3, bottom of the 8th in Seattle. Ariel Miranda, the left-hander, went 7 innings today, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, and struck out 8. Seattle had an 8-game win streak. They have just really put things together here in the second half, and they have played their way back into the wild card picture.
They've been getting great starting pitching, and they've got a ton of veteran, experienced hitters, especially in the middle of that lineup. And they're on a nice little roll right now.
The Orioles won today, so they have a half-game lead over the Blue Jays for the 2 wild card spots. The Tigers, they won. They are 2.5 back of the Blue Jays. Houston and Seattle tied 3 back, so somebody is going to lose a half a game. Devin Travis had a walking lead, and they chased him back.
Yeah, he was dancing off of first base over there. So Ramirez threw over. All he has to do is step off, and that'll stop him.
Ball in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the 8th inning. The Angels scored a run in the 2nd, 1 more in the 5th, and 2 in the 7th. The Blue Jays have been shut out on just 3 hits this afternoon. Alex Meyer, the starter for the Angels, went 5 innings, allowed no runs on 2 hits, and struck out 7.
You can see why he's a #1 pick, or a former #1 pick. I thought he threw the ball really well.
Up to 97 miles an hour.
They have something to build on right there. You know, if you have trouble like the Angels have had this year, they've had a bad year. They're 20 games under 500. The fastest way to get competitive again, get a lot of young pitchers and build it from your pitching staff. And I think they got somebody to build on right there.
Ground ball. Simmons at short. 2nd for 1. Back to 1st. Double play. The Blue Jays are retired in the top of the 8th. We'll go to bottom 8. 4-0 Angels. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. Danny Barnes comes out of the Blue Jays bullpen to start the 8th inning for Barnes. This will be his 9th appearance of the season. He'll face 9-1-2 in the Angels lineup.
And the Angels' first look at Danny Barnes. Never seen him before. He's done a nice job since coming up from the minor leagues. And the Blue Jays get a free look here in September at Barnes. He moved through a couple of levels through the minor league system this year. He's a strike thrower. You can see he's only had 4 walks in those 11 and a third innings. Fastball changeup combination. And the important thing, and I asked Gary Allenson, who is here, who is the most impressive reliever that you have had down there, and he says Danny Barnes because he throws lots of strikes, quality strikes.
Danny Barnes will face Cliff Pennington, the second baseman. Pennington goes after the first pitch. Gary Allenson, you mentioned, he was the AAA manager for Buffalo, and he got to see Barnes at his best. Danny pitched 17 games for Buffalo, had 25 2/3 innings of work, and gave up 6 hits. One earned run.
Probably didn't walk anybody.
He walked 2 and struck out 37.
2. Impressive.
Barnes walked 6 batters all season long in the minors. There's a line drive to right. That's going to get down in front of Bautista. Cliff Pennington was it, second hit of the afternoon.
Well, another leadoff base runner for the Angels. They've had that all afternoon long, and Mike Scioscia's turned it into 4 runs.
Five times today they've had the leadoff runner aboard. Bo Schultz and Aaron Loup, double barrel action for the Blue Jays here in the 8th. Angels lead it 4-0. Escobar takes a first pitch strike. Escobar batting for the 5th time this afternoon. Oh, 2. In case you're just joining us, we had an unusual occurrence here today in Anaheim. We had a 13-minute delay in the ball game because of bees. There were a swarm of bees on the field, and it interrupted play in the 3rd inning for 13 minutes. Upstairs, 1-2 now to Escobar.
I've heard of rain delays and fog delays. Gnats. This is the first time that we've had a bee delay. Good lead over there at first base.
Barnes stepped off. He sensed that Pennington was thinking about running.
He saw the same thing. Mike Scioscia has run 0-2 today. Looked like he was going to run 1-2 there with Cliff Pennington. Another good lead.
Escobar drops his bat. He will do that often on a check swing. And they asked the umpire at first, Jim Reynolds, whether or not he swung. But we have seen him do this in the past. When he's going to check his swing, he will just drop the bat so the umpire doesn't have a real good look at where the bat head is.
I think that's exactly why he does it. Right there, you see the ball's already by him, and he just throws the bat down to the ground.
Two and two now. This might be a perfect time for the Angels to start the runner. They have done it a few times today, and it's worked out in their favor.
Start that runner, and we've seen him shoot the ball to right field and play first to third.
Not running here. Escobar strikes out. Blue Jays will go to Seattle after this game and take on the Mariners. It's a 3-game series. Marco Estrada will open it up for the Jays against Taijuan Walker, coming off one of his best starts of his young career. Last time out against the Angels. Then Jay Happ looking for his 20th win. On Tuesday night, he'll be matched up against Hisashi Iwakuma. He 2-pitched well against the Angels in their sweep of the Angels. And then Aaron Sanchez will return to the rotation Wednesday against Felix Hernandez. Aaron Loup coming out of the bullpen. Loop. Cole Calhoun is the batter, the lefty hitter, ahead of Trout and Pujols. So they go to Loop, who is making just his 17th appearance of the season.
Blue Jays did this last time the lineup was here. Brett Cecil started last inning against Cole Calhoun, struck him out. He was out of the ball game. Now it rolls back around. The left-hander is up again, so Aaron Loop is into the ball game. Gotta shut him down. Cannot give up any runs. So John Gibbons is going batter to batter here.
Cole Calhoun is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. As Pat mentioned, he struck out against Cecil back in the 7th. He's up there hacking. He knows they got to come after him.
Yeah, he knows. All he has to do is look on deck, see who's on deck. Mike Trout, you don't want to face him, so you're going to get yourself some fastballs to hit. Brett Cecil did a good job of using his curveball. Struck him out.
Another fastball from Loop. He's quickly ahead of 1-2. Lefties have hit nearly 300 against Loop this season. 294 average. They are 5 for 17, but he's got the upper hand on Cole Calhoun. And there he strikes him out.
He inherited 14 runners. He stranded 12 of them. He's going to strand another one because he was in here for one batter through 3 pitches. And now he is gone.
So Luke gets his man, and now John Gibbons is going back to the bullpen. Mike Trout is the batter with 2 outs here in the 8th. Bo Schultz will come out of the Blue Jays bullpen when we come back to Anaheim. His 16th appearance of the season. He's coming on to face Mike Trout.
A little bit hard thrower to face Trout. You can see right-handed batters are hitting almost 100 points lower than lefties against Bo. John Gibbons is doing the same thing that Mike Scioscia has done in the middle of the lineup. He's bringing in right-handers who throw hard to try and neutralize the right-handed power. He gets Mike Trout here. Bo last worked in yesterday's game. Through an inning.
Schultz retired the side in order. He got Marte Simmons and Carlos Perez in the 8th inning. Mike Trout has had another big offensive day. He has been on base 3 times. He's walked twice, doubled, scored a pair of runs. And he was robbed of a base hit in his first at bat by Josh Donaldson on a nice play in the first. They're the numbers for the season for Mike Trout against the Blue Jays. He and Pujols both have put up big numbers against the Jays. Danny Barnes started the inning, gave up a single to Pennington, and then struck out Escobar. Then Luke came on to strike out Cole Calhoun. Now Bo Schultz in to face Mike Trout. Two balls and a strike to Trout. Trout's average at .319. Drive to left. Saunders is back. He'll make the running catch. The inning is over. We'll go to the ninth. The Angels have a 4-0 lead for the Blue Jays. They will face A.J. Octor. It'll be Jose Bautista leading things off, followed by Russell Martin and Troy Tulowitzki. Blue Jays are down 4-0. Have taken a half-game lead over the Blue Jays, but the Jays still have that second wild card spot. They have a 2.5-game lead over Seattle and Detroit. And of course, the Blue Jays will be in Seattle for a 3-game series with that spot on the line. There's no question about it. Seattle won today 7-3 over Houston. And the Blue Jays are trailing 4-0 on just 3 hits here this afternoon as they are set to bat in the 9th inning.
We'll have to figure out the offense before they head into Seattle, because Seattle's got some great pitching and they're right on their tail. This is A.J. Octor, 20 games for Octor, a former 46th round draft pick by the Minnesota Twins back in 2010. He was claimed off waivers from the Phillies actually in December of 2015. Doesn't throw real hard, but he throws 3 different pitches for strikes. And if he came up through the Twin system, you know that he throws a lot of strikes.
Bautista drives it down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Jose is around first. He's headed for second. He'll get there with a leadoff double.
Blue Jays trying to give the Angels a big finish. That's a good start. Again, he doesn't throw that hard, so that fastball in there, you can pull that ball to left field. Jose gets the head out. Good start here in the 9th.
Russell Martin has had a 3 strikeout afternoon, and he can salvage that with a hit here in the 9th inning. Average at .241 for Martin. Blue Jays need some more base runners. That's all they need to think about right now. They're down by 4.
Yeah, you're not trying to get anything dramatic just yet. Jose Alvarez gets up, the left-hander. Nothing dramatic yet. You're just trying to get on base any way you can.
Two balls and no strikes to Martin. Charles Nagy, the pitching coach for the Angels, out of the Angel dugout, quickly going to the mound. Probably reminding Octor of the score. Hey, it's 4-0. Can't be walking anybody in this situation.
You know, the shadows are starting to roll across home plate right now, making it a little bit tougher for the hitters. That's what you're dealing with right there. So you got to make sure that he throws you a strike.
Martin hits it to third. Nice play by Escobar.
Boy, he has fielded really well today down at third base. He took a hit away from Troy Tulowitzki a couple of innings ago. He started a tough double play off of Josh Donaldson in the third inning, and this looked like it had a chance to be a hit. But he backhands it cleanly. That's the first out. That ball gets by him, you never know what's going to happen. But Escobar makes it look easy.
Troy Tulowitzki, he was robbed on a good play by Escobar his last time up. Tulowitzki has also driven a ball to the warning track in right field that ended up in the glove of Cole Calhoun. Made a nice running catch of it. Ground ball in the hole. Simmons will fire across the diamond in time. 2 away.
They got two of the better arms on an infield, don't they? Escobar's got a good arm at third base, and Anderson Simmons got a cannon for a shortstop.
Well, the Blue Jays are down to their final out. Yonder Navarro singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3 so far this afternoon. The Blue Jays are looking at their 7th shutout. They have been shut out 6 times so far this season. First pitch strike to Navarro. Two and one now to Navarro as the Blue Jays try to stay alive here in the 9th. Michael Saunders is on deck, anxious to get another at bat here this afternoon.
Yeah, you got to hope to get that tying run to the plate if you're the Blue Jays and just give yourself one shot.
2 and 2 now.
He'll use his fastball or his changeup basically with 2 strikes to a left-handed batter. Looks like he threw him a couple of change-ups there.
Pop up into shallow left field. This is going to be caught by Simmons, and he does it once again. That's a trademark play for Anderson Simmons, ranging out into the outfield, and that's the ball game. And the Angels split the 4 games with the Blue Jays, as the Jays just couldn't get anything going offensively this afternoon.
Yeah, when you win the first 2 games of a 4-game series, you start thinking sweep. We got a chance to sweep this team, really gain some momentum, but the hitting just went south. Blue Jays have scored just 1 run in their last 18 innings against a team, the Angels, who came into this game at the bottom, towards the bottom in earned run average in the American League. Only 3 teams were worse than the Angels. So definitely got to regroup because you got a huge series waiting for you up in Seattle.
Angels starter Alex Myers won his first big league game. He's the winner. Stroman's the loser. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night from Seattle. Stay tuned. Here's Blue Jays Central. Jamie and Greg, take it away.